Hello everyone and welcome to another video. We got a lot of new changes going on here. We got a fancy little setup, decided to wear lipstick, already regretting wearing the lipstick. But regardless, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to let you guys know that I cooked up some vegan Thanksgiving recipes for you guys. I actually already have a ton of different vegan Thanksgiving videos on my channel. I did a whole series a few years back. I did a time-friendly one. I have other fall themed recipes that would be perfect for a vegan Thanksgiving or just vegan fall family meal in general. So today I decided to add a few new recipes to my repertoire as well as upgrade and revamp a few ones that are already on my YouTube channel and will now be on my blog. So today in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a fancy little vegan lentil loaf, some tahini gravy, which is so good. And then we also have some roasted vegetable casserole and some vegan cornbread because who doesn't love cornbread? I also decided to pair mine with some mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce. Those are pretty easy to make. I don't have exact recipes for them, but I can link some below if you guys are curious and you want to make them for yourself too. So if you want to learn how to make some of these fancy things, stay tuned because I'm going to show you how I made it right now. First up, I'm going to show you how to make some easy and kind of healthy, pretty healthy, vegan cornbread. I love this recipe because I love cornbread, but I have modified it recently. So the first thing we're going to do is make some vegan buttermilk. And for this, you need vegan soy milk and apple cider vinegar. As you can see in the kind of time lapse, the apple cider vinegar acts as an acid and it curdles the protein in the soy milk, which is why I recommend that you use soy milk and not any other milk because it's not as high in protein. It just makes the bread so much fluffier, so I really recommend you do that. We're also going to be making a flax egg by mixing 2 tablespoons of flax with 5 tablespoons of water. Then you're just going to whisk all of this up until everything is evenly incorporated and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes just to thicken up. Then we're going to be making everything else in the blender, and surprise, surprise, this cornbread has beans in it. They actually help to make the cornbread a lot more fluffy, so you're just going to add some white beans and water into a blender. Blend them a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because we're going to be adding other ingredients later, but now we're going to add in the soy milk with the apple cider vinegar, along with some maple syrup for sweetness, and that flax egg that we made earlier and has thickened. Then you're going to blend this until everything is smooth and creamy and all of the beans dissolve into the liquid. You want it to be totally smooth and have no bean chunks in it. Then we're going to add in our dry ingredients, which is some cornmeal. I'm using finely ground cornmeal. You can also use a medium coarse cornmeal if you like more texture in your cornbread. And then I'm also using a 1-to-1 gluten-free all-purpose flour blend. I would recommend using a gluten-free flour blend for this recipe, not a single type of gluten-free flour. We're also going to add a tablespoon each of baking powder and baking soda, along with some salt and some turmeric for color. Then again, you're just going to blend this all up until everything becomes evenly incorporated. It is going to be pretty thick, but that is a-okay. I think it's really easy just to make in your blender. It's only one bowl. You don't have to get anything else dirty, but you can mix it in a bowl too if you want. Then you're going to take a 9x9 baking tray and grease it or line it with parchment paper, and then just pour the batter from the cornbread into the mixture and spread it out into the pan, and then spread it out using a spatula just so it's nice and even on top. Then you're just going to pop this into the oven, and this is what it looks like when it comes out. It will have nicely puffed up. It might crack a little on the top, but I think that's a-okay. I'm not a perfectionist. And then you're just going to set it on a cooling rack, and you do want to let it cool for a few minutes before you slice and serve it. This actually allows the cornbread to be fluffier. So this is what it looks like once it comes out, and as you can see, each of the pieces are nice and thick and fluffy, and you would never guess that there were actually beans hiding in there. So a booyah to that. You can serve your cornbread however you'd like. Personally, even though this recipe is oil-free, I still like to top mine with some vegan butter. I just think that like makes cornbread really the most delicious it could possibly be. But you do you. You can do whatever you would like. Either way, if you make this recipe, you're going to enjoy it. And if you're not gluten-free, you can substitute the gluten-free flour for all-purpose flour and it will still work out really well. Next up, we have another side dish, which is our roasted fall vegetable casserole. This dish is really easy to make, but I love serving on Thanksgiving because it's a nice, healthier side and helps balance out all the cornbread that I'm also going to be stuffing my face with. So you're going to add some vegetable broth as well as some onion, shallots, and celery to a large pot, and then you're going to saute this over medium heat until all the veggies become translucent and fragrant. Then from there, we're going to add in our fresh herbs. So we have some rosemary and thyme, along with some freshly cracked black pepper pepper. And then we're going to add in some dried cranberries. I prefer to use dried cranberries because they are sweeter and they're going to be rehydrated as we saute this mixture. And last but not least, you're going to add in a Gala apple. I like to use a Gala apple because it is sweet and holds up well in cooking. You can use a more sour apple like a Granny Smith if you don't want your mixture to be as sweet. Either way, you're going to saute this in the pan for about 5 minutes or so until the apple pieces become tender and the cranberries become rehydrated. And then we're going to add in our remaining veggies, which is some cubed butternut squash, as well as some Brussels sprouts that I chopped in half. Then we're just going to add in a sprinkle of pecans. We're going to add the rest of them later and just mix all this together until everything is well incorporated and the seasonings have covered the butternut squash and the Brussels sprouts as well. Then you're just going to take a large 9x13 casserole dish and pour all these veggies into the casserole dish. Spread them out evenly with a spoon so we get nice even bake temperature across everything. And then we're going to add in some vegetable broth, and this is going to prevent the vegetables from sticking to the bottom of the casserole dish and also provide some moisture to them while they bake in the oven. Last but not least, you're going to top them with the remaining pecans more evenly than I did. You could even add more pecans in this if you'd like an extra little crunch. The pecans will stay nice and crunchy because they're on the top of the casserole dish, and all the veggies will get crispy as well and nice and moist and soft. So you're going to pop this in the oven, and this is what it looks like once it comes out. It's a little less bright green in color, but the flavors are still there and they taste really freaking delicious. This pretty much has all the flavors of stuffing, but just no bread, which actually, if you read my blog post, there's a funny story behind that, but I'll let you read the blog post to find it out. So once this comes out of the oven, you can serve it however you desire, either put it on larger plates or put it in a big bowl for other people to serve. I like to top mine with a sprinkle of freshly black pepper as well for an extra little kick. And last but not least, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make this vegan lentil loaf. I worked really hard on this recipe. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I think you guys are gonna love it too. So first things first, we're going to cook our lentils. We're using a combination of red lentils and brown lentils with some vegetable broth to soften things up. I'm using red lentils and brown lentils because they have different cooking times. So the red lentils are going to become nice and mushy, while the brown lentils are still going to hold their bite and give the lentil loaf texture, which is very important because a lot of lentil loaves are mushy. So once this mixture comes to a boil, you're going to cover it and let that simmer for 30 minutes, while in the meantime you prepare the rest of our filling for the lentil loaf. So you're going to add some water or vegetable broth to a pan, along with some garlic, onion, and celery. Notice a recurring theme here of these fall veggies. We're going to saute this until everything becomes translucent. And then at this point, we're going to add our herbs. We have some fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, and fresh sage. If you can use fresh herbs, I highly suggest it, though you can substitute dry if you're in a pinch. We're also going to add in some black pepper along with some shredded carrot, some diced mushrooms, and somehow this didn't make it into the video clip, but I swear I also added a tablespoon of tamari. It just somehow disappeared. But we're going to saute this down, and as you can see, the mushrooms are slowly going to release their liquid, and everything is going to become nice and golden and yummy. It's going to smell like stuffing again, and we really just want to saute this down until all of the liquid evaporates from the pan, because we want this mixture to be as dry as possible so our lentil loaf is not mushy. So as you can see here, there's not any liquid left in the bottom of the pan. That's when I know my veggies have finished sauteing and we are good to move on to the next step. By this point, your lentils should have cooked, and as you can see, there's going to be extra liquid left in the pot, but that is a-okay because we're going to strain our lentils. And this does sound picky, but you really do need to use a fine metal strainer like the one I'm using here, because we're going to be pressing our lentils sort of through the strainer. We're mostly just pressing the liquid out of the strainer, but this is going to break down the red lentils, allow them to become more mushy while the brown ones stay intact. And getting liquid out really is key for not having a mushy lentil loaf. So you need to make sure that your lentil puree is as dry as possible. Like you can see here, it's slowly decreasing in size and getting nice and thick, but you can still see the texture from the lentils. So you can just discard that extra lentil liquid unless you want to drink it. I mean, it probably tastes good, but I wouldn't want to drink it. And then we're going to add that thickened lentil puree to a large bowl along with those veggies that we sauteed. And this is going to be the base of our lentil filling, but we're also going to add in some walnut pieces for an extra little bite, as well as some ground flax. And we're using this instead of flour to thicken the lentil loaf, give it some more healthy fat and fiber, and really have a nice chew, because as the ground flax absorbs the liquid from the lentils as they're cooking, everything is going to get more thick. Then last but not least, we're going to add in 1 more tablespoon of tamari just to add in some extra umami goodness and salt to the recipe. And then once everything is evenly mixed and well incorporated, we we are good to transfer this into a bread loaf pan. I used an 8-inch loaf pan, which is a little small, and you will have a little filling sort of popping over the top. But personally, I like this because you really do want to pack the filling down, and you can sort of round the lentil loaf out on top, which I think looks more aesthetically pleasing. So you're going to pop it in the oven, and once it comes out, it will be nice and golden brown looking like this. And then you're going to carefully transfer it to a baking rack and allow it to cool. You don't want to serve it right away because it will be sort of thickening some as it comes out of the oven. So you can always reheat it when you are ready to serve it for your main Thanksgiving dish. But as you can see, it slices nicely. It's not mushy, and I'm very, very happy with this. It tastes like freaking fall in a loaf, and you can totally see all the little veggies and bites of flavor that are in it. So I'm really happy with it, and I love it. And you can serve the lentil loaf however you'd like, but I decided to top mine with some of my tahini gravy. I thought I recorded myself making this, but honestly, I can't find the video anywhere, and I can't be bothered to look anymore. I have shown you how to make this before though, so I will just link it below. And there you have it, guys. All these recipes are very simple, and I love how they're made with healthy ingredients, but they still taste yummy enough where you can make them for your friends and family, even if they're not vegan on Thanksgiving. I just said vegan in a really weird twang. If you're looking for more Thanksgiving recipes, like I said, I've already filmed videos in the past. I have other recipes for like soups and desserts, and I'm going to be filming more Thanksgiving desserts that will be coming to you shortly. I also have like a vegan sweet potato casserole, some vegan stovetop stuffing. I got lots of different goods, so they will all be linked in the description of the video, as always. But I mean, if I'm standing here with the food and I'm filming this, I might as well give you guys a little taste test. Let's see. We'll start with the gravy. Bomb. I honestly love this gravy. I've made it for like the past 3 years before tahini was even popular. I think it's a nice twist from the classic mushroom gravy, though you could add mushrooms to it if you wanted to, or other herbs or spices. It's like nice and creamy, perfectly balanced. I don't know. I just think it's really good. And then the lentil loaf, I'm so happy with. It has like all the spices of stuffing, but in a lentil loaf, and I love how it actually holds its texture and it's not mushy, it doesn't fall apart. It's also really hard to eat when I'm wearing this lipstick. I'm kind of scared I'm gonna smudge it off. I mean, what can I say? I wouldn't make a recipe that wasn't good. Or at least I wouldn't share a recipe with you guys that wasn't good. I've definitely made recipes that aren't good. And then we have our roasted veggie hash over here under this piece of cornbread, which is what I really want. You know, it's healthy. It's delicious. Tastes like stuffing without the bread. Actually, the fun thing about this recipe is that I've made it for like the past, I think 3 or 4 recipes for my non-vegan family, and everyone always loves it. So if you need to bring something to a party and you don't know what to bring, I would actually recommend bringing this. And then last but not least, we have my favorite thing about fall, and like one of my favorite things in life in general. Cornbread. This is so good. It'd be even better with some vegan butter, but I don't feel like opening the fridge to get it out. But either way, very, very good. So here you have it, guys. Obviously you can add more, add less, do what works for you. You could add vegan mac and cheese. Apparently some people eat that on Thanksgiving. However you decide to celebrate Thanksgiving, even if you're the only vegan, I just wanna say, just at the end of the day, don't stress yourself out too much about it. It's just one meal, and the main reason why you're there is to see your family and friends. So if your family is hard on you for being vegan, or you think it's going to be challenging, honestly, just take a deep breath. Let all the stupid but bacon though comments roll right off your shoulders, and make some awesome vegan food for yourself. Don't worry about what anyone else is going to say. And oftentimes vegan food looks bomb AF anyways, so your friends and family are probably going to want to try it. And if they're weird about vegan food, just don't tell them it's vegan, and like have them eat it before you start eating it so they don't know it's vegan. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just one holiday, it's just one meal. You're going to get through it, you're going to survive, and you're going to thrive if you make some of these recipes because they all taste really good. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below telling me what you're planning on making or veganizing or whatever for your Thanksgiving this year. I'm actually staying in Portland with my friends, so I'm going to be having a Friendsgiving. I'm just gonna go home for Christmas. But yeah, this video is very long, going on a tangent. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys for watching. As always, all the recipes will be linked below. Have an awesome day, whatever time of day it is for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. If you make anything, make the cornbread.